Are we live? Hopefully I didn't just close it too soon.
It says live.
Hey guys in the chat, can you let us know if we are live? It does say live, so we should be. It takes longer to come up on my thing now. So I did want to start off this live by saying that we are a group of VIPKid teachers. We are not part of VIPKid headquarters or anything. This is just something fun. We give our opinions. What else? We give our opinions, our experiences, and talk all things teaching. So welcome everybody. Thanks for coming.
No, they can't.
Everybody, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
We're burnt out. We're burnt out.
We're going to talk about that today. So, well, hey, let's go around and introduce ourselves. We have a couple of new faces here, and I'm going to start with my top left, which is Cindy.
Okay. My name is Cindy Bennett, and I just signed my, it's my 5th contract. So I just completed 2 years with VIPKid, and I also administrate the iPad group, VIPKid iPad group. It's also not, it's not VIPKid like sponsored or anything. It's just a group I started to connect all the VIPKid iPad user people. And I also have 13 children, teacher, stay-at-home mom teacher right now. So
great. All right, Amanda.
Hello, I'm Amanda Panda teacher. I have a little helper. My little kindergarten.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
I'm from California. I teach in PST time, and I just celebrated signing my new contract, my number 5, and so excited because I have a new background. And I wanted to share, if you want these printables, I made them. They are at amandapandateacher.wordpress.com. I made giant dino and
I love it.
So they're free. You can print them and glue them together on paper.
Wow.
So yeah, new background.
I didn't know it was free. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that blog, check out that blog. I've got the printable for you. You just print it and then assemble. So I'm a moderator for VIPKid Props and Rewards and VIPKid Teachers Los Angeles, a busy Etsy seller, and Teachers Pay Teachers just everywhere.
We love it. See, we have all kinds of tips, tricks, free things. I don't know, all kinds of things on our channel on Mondays. Okay, Marianne, you're next on my screen.
Okay. Hello, I'm teacher Marianne, and I don't do anything special like you ladies as far as VIP.
Oh yeah, no.
But I do teach full time. So I just signed my 6th contract. So I should be getting at least an email for that hoodie, I guess. So which is exciting.
Oh, that is really exciting.
But so I don't have a group, VIPKid group or anything, but my husband and I are trying to open up an eBay store hopefully this year. So that's what we've been working on. And that'll be my other job. So, but yeah, I went full time almost 2 years ago, year and a half. So it keeps me busy. And I did get burnt out, so yeah. I can definitely talk about that.
Marianne is one of my go-tos to talk all things life, really, teaching and just everything. I'm like, Marianne, we text back and forth. We've never gotten to meet each other in person. Actually, I've never gotten to meet any of these awesome people in person yet, but we're planning our own meetup someday.
They were this close. If we had known this was all going to happen, we would have. I bet we would have made it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I was too new at the time. I was just in the group.
Yeah.
Okay, Mary.
She's muted.
You're gonna have to unmute.
There we go.
There you go.
I'm Mary, and I live in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. I'm actually Canadian and hoping I was supposed to do my citizenship ceremony right as COVID was starting. So sometime soon, I'll be a citizen. My background was in preschool teaching and then transitioned got my master's in counseling. So I was a marriage and family therapist for a number of years until I stopped that and started homeschooling my son, who is now 21. So I've been with VIPKid. I just signed my 6th contract this week as well. So I'm excited about that. And I teach levels 1 through 7 plus every supplemental there is. And until about 2 months ago, I moderated the level 1 teacher support group for VIPKid.
Great. And Kasie, you're next on my screen.
Hey, so I'm Kasie Morrow. I'm another Kasie. and I work for VIPKid. I've worked for them for over 2 years, and I'm starting with Kid and also with I'm trying to think, Palfish.
Oh, nice.
So I'm just trying to get a bunch of other companies. I mean, I started with Palfish so that I can talk to people that don't have a degree and people that are interested in teaching online, because I figure I've had some people ask me and I've been like, oh, well, VIPKid's awesome, but if you don't have a degree, then I'm sorry, but you can't do it. So I don't know, I just thought maybe I'd like broaden the horizons a little bit. And I've noticed a decrease in bookings with VIPKid because I'm trying to like get all of these other companies figured out with the bookings. So I don't know, I have to figure that out. But
As you can tell, Kasie is one of the quieter ones.
yeah.
She's the quiet Kasie. We talked about that last time, so find that button, Kasie. Okay, Julie. It is so nice to have you, Julie. Thanks for coming.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you very much. My name is Julie Connor, and when I'm not VIPKid teaching, I'm a TED speaker. I speak to youth and adults throughout the country at school assemblies, conferences, about mental health and about how to engage in conversations, how to have those conversations about tough topics like mental health and suicide prevention. So today's topic is something very dear to my heart. And I created the VIPKid Mental Health and Wellness Facebook group. And Cindy Bennett saved my life with the iPad group. I have wanted to become a VIPKid iPad teacher for months, and I just get so overwhelmed. And I think this hits today's topic of the overwhelm that we experience on a variety of levels. And so to be able to connect with VIPKid teachers in different areas of expertise has just been a delight. And Cindy, I don't even know where to start.
It's the iPad. It's all about the iPad. It's not me.
Well,
the iPad's amazing.
Well, to have the wherewithal to create and connect, which is about what I think this can become very isolating work.
And it's been awesome. Just because of the iPad, I've been able to talk to doctors and talk to people all over the world. Like I have a friend in Ecuador right now.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it's crazy. Just, people that use the iPad all over the world because it's so transportable, versatile, and easy to use. Right. And it connects. I'm using mine right now because my computer kept stalling. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to get my iPad. So thank you. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
And Julie, how long have you been with VIPKid? Did you say that?
This is my third contract.
Okay.
A third contract is I started out my doctorate's in education, and I thought of this the other day. When the year turned 2020, I have been in education for 40 years.
Wow. Good for you.
I have been around since the invention of dirt.
You win. You win.
Oh, I get the trophy.
I want to say I saw when you started coming in to I don't know if I saw you at the beginning when you first started coming in or what, but I really respect you for all of your experience.
Oh, thank you.
To come in, and you have to start at the bottom like everyone else and work your way in. And you kind of have to be a little bit humble, I would think, after all your experience, you have to kind of like start over with a whole new thing. And that's very respectable.
Well, I think all of us in many different lives, that's the characteristic of life is.
Yeah, that's true.
Beginning and starting something new, and something that I find, especially with the people that I've really connected with on VIPKid, are the ones that are curious and eager to learn. And we're all students and we're all teachers. So
Yeah.
this gives us opportunities, you know,
Yeah.
and I think when we look at the word, here I go into language, but when we look at the word humble, you know, and humility, it comes from the French, which means truth. And so when we acknowledge our gifts, both strong and those areas where we can improve, then we really become gifts to one another.
Amen. Awesome. Wow. I feel good already.
Well, I feel good because I got a trophy.
Okay, and next we have Paige. It's so good to see you.
Yes.
You look great.
Wow.
Yay.
Are you in your new house?
No, I am actually at my brother and sister-in-law's house
Okay.
in Indianapolis. We're on a little journey. So I
Mhm.
actually am not going to Colorado until the mid-July. And
Oh,
my
wow.
plan was to rent a place in South Carolina. However, Corona kept me from renting. So now I'm traveling around, just staying with family.
Wow. That's
Let me know.
unusual.
Let me know when you get over here. I'll come
Yes.
see you.
I am going to let you know, and that should be later in May. So
Even if we have to stay 6 feet apart, I'll come
Yeah.
find you.
well, in Indiana, they opened their state back ups here pretty
Yeah.
much. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think places are opening back up. So hopefully that'll be good.
Good.
But I jumped on late because I had a hard time getting on for some reason this morning.
I
or
think
this
we all did.
afternoon.
It's my fault.
What was the question?
Who are you? What
Who
do
am
you
I?
do? Shout out your
am I?
channel.
This is your moment.
This is my moment. So anyway, I am actually teacher Linda at VIPKid because my name is Linda Page, but I have been with VIPKid. It was 2 years in February and have loved, loved, loved every moment of it. But I have to be very honest. I have really loved it more in the last 2 to 3 months since I've gotten to know some of you guys, because
Aww.
it is a very isolating
Yeah.
job. And you know why we didn't think about doing Zooms before or anything like that, but it was nice to connect with other people. And I've always thought the whole VIPKid community was just so loving and caring and giving anyway. And just to really kind of now put a face with the name has just been really exciting for me. So that part has been really good. And I have been in the world of education too for over 25 years. I ran a Sylvan Learning Center for 12 years. That was my past career before I started with VIPKid. Not sure what I'm going to do when I move to Colorado, because that is like mountain time zone. I'm sure I can handle
Yeah.
that.
You can chat with Amanda Panda. She'll get you up to speed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Amanda, you're gonna have to tell me about that because my body just doesn't do so well about that. I don't know. So, but I really enjoyed. I love my kids. I actually have been off since last Wednesday and just went back today. Just started teaching again today, so I got to see all my regular kids. And for anybody that's watching too, my schedule just popped right back up. I didn't lose any kids. Today, I will say, was a little bit different because today is a holiday over there. So some of the kids did. I mean, the mom said I had 2 cancel and they said today's a holiday. So anyway, other than that, my schedule's picked right back up after taking, since last Wednesday off.
Good. And we'll definitely be talking about taking time off today. So I'm Kasie Oswald. I've been with VIPKid for what did I say? Since August. What is that? 8, 9 months? I use my fingers. I'm a kindergarten teacher. I've been a teacher for 10 years. I love the babies, but I find the older ones actually for VIPKid have been a lot more fun. I am a mom. My kids are 21 and 19. I don't really introduce myself usually about my kids and stuff. And my husband pretty much gave me all the ideas that you see on YouTube. So I just love being here with everybody and talking and chatting all things teaching. So that's it. Okay, well, let's get right into it. We have 5 people in the chat. Thanks for coming, guys. I do have notes in front of me today. So, if I'm looking down here, I've got my notes. If I'm looking over here, it's your live chat. So if you have questions for us, questions for somebody on the panel, put them in all caps so that we can see it. And quick shout out, Evelyn's here, Stephanie's here, Deborah's here, Cindy, Amanda, and I are in the chat.
Oh, okay. I like to see if anybody posts comments.
I do too. I do too. All right, so let's get into it. Does anyone want to let people know what we mean by teacher burnout? What is teacher burnout, or, I guess teacher burnout. I don't know what else you call it.
Well, it's when you're being overworked, when you're working way too many hours, and maybe you're working all nights, or you're just waking up super early in the morning and then you're working until the very end of the shift, and it doesn't even have to mean that. It's just you're working a lot and you're kind of tired and you need a break.
Yeah,
Not enjoyable anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
You don't bring your heart to it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Or for me, it's when my personal life is out of balance, my work life. So it doesn't matter if I'm teaching a lot of classes or a few classes. If there's an imbalance in that, in my life, then I'm going to feel burnt out, because sometimes my personal life takes up more time and other times I have more time to teach. So I can't consistently say I'm available for this many hours, because then some other things will suffer. So it's a constant balancing act of making sure that each aspect of my life stays in balance.
Anyone want to say anything else about burnout?
That could be a whole topic, Mary, that you could teach. I'm sitting there going, keeping them aligned, keeping the balls in the air equally. Be a whole topic.
Well, we can chat about it now. I mean, we have, we have time to talk about it. So I was telling my husband when I was preparing for this today and taking my notes, I said, I feel funny saying burnout when I teach, 3 to 5 to 6 hours a day. Or even if I teach 3 hours, I'm like, that just sounds funny to be burnt out. But you're right. It is a balance, of all things, coming together, I guess.
I believe one of the things that takes us out of balance is our perceptions. I've seen many VIPKid teachers even struggle with being a real teacher, and what does that mean? And so we laden it with labels such as, am I a real teacher or not? I only teach 5 or 6 classes. I only if, so I should not. So we have a list of all those things if and all those things should, and nothing will push us out of balance faster than labels and perceptions that are not accurate. One of the things that I believe is especially challenging as a VIPKid teacher is the one-on-one constant attention. There is, we don't stop for a break. It's a conversation. We don't rarely in the brick and mortar classrooms that we've taught in ever experience. There's always a time for dialogue among students or for students to work quietly on work. And we are on the entire 25 minutes we teach, and many times roll straight into the next classroom without a break. So that can be especially challenging. I believe being a VIPKid teacher is the most rewarding teaching experience I've ever had. And the camaraderie that I've experienced with VIPKid teachers is better than any teacher's lounge and healthier than any teacher's lounge I've ever experienced.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't speak for everybody's experience. That has been mine. And the balance is restored, I believe, when we connect with other people who share the same experience.
Yes, Cindy.
When I'm 2 years, but when I first started, I sort of went into different Facebook groups, and honestly, I saw a lot of negativity because people were I felt like they were putting way too much into, like they were trying to work a million, classes, and then they were blaming the company because they were tired or because they were feeling like they don't have time to use the bathroom and stuff like that, or they were gaining weight because they had to teach so much. And way back at the beginning, that's why when I saw Micah Kid in his videos, and he started his little weight loss group, I'm like, I'm with you, because I think we need to take control of ourselves. Don't let the company, it's not the company's fault because we're independent.
Right.
we need to schedule our time, and we need to consider what we're capable of doing. Now, I'm somewhat older than a lot of teachers. Some people can teach, like Marianne. Marianne's not that much younger than me, but she doesn't have the same life I have, and she feels okay to do overnight. But I don't have to feel pushed that that's what I have to do. I do what works for me and try to pace myself. And I think that people get burnt out when they try to do more, number one, than they're capable of doing, or push themselves to do more than they realistically can do. And so that's part of being burnt out, is when you push yourself beyond you know, if you look and you say so and so has 100 classes per week and I can only do, like, to me 50 is pushing it. So, but that's okay, you know, that some people can only do a few and some people can do more, and you do what works for you. But I think at the beginning, even though I wasn't doing a ton of classes, the thing that really made me really stretched was if I try to do morning and evening, you know. And I know Kelly, she doesn't really do evenings. And so you have to figure that out. Like, if it's easier for you to do a long stretch of classes and then take a whole long break, that might be good for you, rather than trying to do some in the morning and some in the evening kind of thing. So I think it's just tailor making the company to do what you can do for yourself.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, you can't compare yourself to anybody else, because you have to do what works best for you. And when you first start with VIPKid, of course, everybody's excited. Oh my gosh,
Right.
it's a great class. And they sign up for all these classes, and it's kind of, it's like anything new. It's exciting, it's new, it's fun. And then after a while, it's like, you know, you have to keep it from being mundane or whatever. But when we start comparing ourselves to the other teachers, and there are so many Facebook groups, and well, this isn't a typical, if it's part-time job for you, it's not a typical part-time job. Part-time job, you go, you work your few hours, you come home, you're done. Here, it's like you have Facebook groups, you have workshops, you have rewards and props, and and everybody wants, like, I want new stars, and I want, you know, and that's up to you if you want to do that. But you're not expected to, because the ultimate goal is to teach the students proper English and, you know, pronunciation, and that's the ultimate goal. But I think sometimes teachers get caught up in all the bling, you know, so to speak, all the, oh, you know, I mean, it's nice to have a fun background and all that, but that's not right.
Sometimes that's an outlet, though. To me, this was like painting. This was kind of an outlet. So it just depends. Some people, they're doing too much, and some people, they're doing it because it's an outlet, you know. So
you have to do what works best for you. I mean, I started working when I was 11 years old. My parents owned a Dairy Queen. I was able to work, and it's just like in my blood. My dad was an entrepreneur. My mom was a nurse. We're workers. And so I've worked 16, 18-hour shifts at different jobs, and so it doesn't bother me. And I kind of thrive on the competition. When I'm like, all right, you know, because like 80 classes a week is full-time, is 40 hours a week, but then there's your feedback time and, you know, other things that go along with it. So when the students in China had the shutdown just recently, I mean, the classes were there. So I'm like, I mean, I took them. I was working over 100 classes a week. And I just took a week off and came back last week. And I should have done it a little bit sooner, you know. And sometimes you get a little greedy, or I get a little greedy. I don't know, because it's like the money coming in is so awesome, right? So anyway, yeah, you have to do what works best for you, is the bottom line.
That brings me to my challenge is saying no. Like, I understand the backgrounds and things. The background for me is just a happy place. You know, I tried to have like a Harry Potter one time, and it just didn't make me smile. But for me, I said no to a priority booking the other day, and it hurt my heart, but I wrote, guys, I said no, I did it. I was able to say no. And that's how I end up working 18-hour shifts when I was a teenager too, was I couldn't say no. So yeah, I'm learning. But that's definitely a part for me.
Well,
Amanda, thank you for posting that. Really quick, sorry, Cindy. I want to tell Julie, Amanda is posting what you're writing in the chat into the chat on YouTube, because the only ones that can see the chat right now are us on Zoom. But Amanda's got you covered. She is putting it in the group.
Oh, May is mental. It's wonderful that we're talking about this topic about burnout and stress and self-care, because May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Oh,
so this is very, very timely to be putting this kind of information out there, talking about stress and talking about timeout and our talking about all of these different kinds of difficult issues that trouble our bodies can be really hard, because what it's not as fun to talk about as props are and some of the other things.
Yeah, that's true.
Backgrounds and changing colors. But if we're not taking good care of ourselves, then we're not taking care of our students as best we can, nor our families, nor those with that love us and those that we love.
This idea came from Cindy. And Cindy, I know you had something to say just now.
Well, I wanted to add to that, because if anybody's watching and they're new, I think at the beginning, like when I signed up, I thought I would just get hired and then you open your slots and the kids come in and you're done. But then I realized there is an element of you have to work and build up your clientele kind of thing. So at the beginning, it can be a little bit difficult and you may have to push yourself at the beginning. But then after that, if you can handle that and push yourself a little bit to get your students, then you can pull back. So like now after 2 years, I'm not stressed every week. Am I going to get students? I have a good amount of students and I'm okay, you know? And then also on the Facebook groups, you might see people say, I've been with VIPKid for 2 years or 3 years, and now I'm getting 0 bookings. Just stay the course yourself. Don't look at everyone else, and just do what you are doing. And I don't know why. We don't know why some people aren't getting bookings. So if it happens to you, deal with it, but don't stress out if it's not happening. Don't assume it's going to happen, because it hasn't happened to me yet. Like, I still have it in the back of my mind because it's been said, but so far so good. So yeah, keep that in mind too.
Yeah,
I think it puts those seeds in there when you read those Facebook groups. I tell people, I'm like, just stay off of them. There,
a lot of them you can stay off of. There are some good ones.
Yeah,
like
there
the
are
iPad
some good
group.
ones. Yeah, but some of them, I'm like, it just puts those seeds in your head and it just pulls your morale down. Whether your morale, if your morale was up when you got on there, then you leave it and you're like, well, I'm not doing such a great.
I've gotten off of quite a few of them. So I do the weight loss group, which is very positive, very encouraging, and the iPad group. And if there's one that stresses me out, I just get out of it because I don't need it.
And as a moderator of the VIPKid Mental Health and Wellness group, I am ruthless when it comes to negative comments. And if it's about politics, you know I've belonged to other groups and helped moderate other groups where people would gently write a note and say, I'm sorry, we had to remove your whatever. And I've got it listed in the about what the boundaries are and what the rules are and the guidelines that we agree to within the group before everybody joins. I assume that everybody has read those, whether it's true or not.
I don't know if I have, Julie, I'm sorry.
And then I act on it. If it's controversial, if it's mean-spirited, I delete it easily. And because I think we need that kind of fearlessness if we're going to survive in this. And I was eager to hear what Mary had been with your counseling experience.
Yes.
What you have to say about this.
Yeah, well, I think what you're talking about is that important need for those boundaries, Julie. And I think everyone's boundaries are different. You know, for me, I find that I feel really full when I teach 40 classes a week. You know? And when I pushed during COVID and taught 7 days a week, that didn't work for me because, you know, being almost 60 years old, I I need my sleep, and menopause wreaks havoc on that already. So my boundaries may be different than someone who's a 25-year-old teacher.
Right.
And that those personal needs are different. That being fierce to advocate for yourself and say, I am going to create my life my way, and I can't compare that to anybody else. I wanted to piggyback on being patient with your bookings, because when I started, I just signed my 6th contract, but when I started, it took me over 90 days to get my first student. And that felt really frustrating, but I felt like, okay, if I hang in there, I can do this. And I think that lesson of being patient, taking workshops, opening slots that fit my schedule. And I was one of those people that said, I don't care if this takes a long time. I'm not working overnight. I'm not pushing.
Yeah, I can't do overnight.
Like, I'm not doing that. I get up to teach at 6 a.m. and that feels really early for me. You know, those are my personal limits. And I think we each need to see what they are for ourselves. And if we want to push a little bit more, be sure you reward yourself with some time off after. I wanted to share my experience last year. Last April, I was in a car accident and I had an immediate 3 weeks off work, which segued immediately into a 3-week planned vacation. So my son will be turning 21 on Friday, and he's a national park ranger. So we were moving him away from home for the first time across country. So it wasn't optional for me to not have that complete 6 weeks off. And I was just trusting that my students would be there. And I think there's some really important things to do when you're afraid of losing those students. I can't take a day off. I can't take a week off. I can't take a month off. Yes, you can, but the importance is communicating. So for me, all my regulars, I have their email addresses. Some people do WeChat, I have email. So I email my parents and say, this is what's happening. This is what I need to do. This is when I'll be back. And then I send them e-cards to let them know what's happening. And I just keep those lines of communication open. And I think that's one of the key things, whether you use your feedback, if you're planning to take time off, write it in feedback that you plan to be away from here and here, and this is when you can expect to see, the parents can expect to see you back in the class. But it's finding what works for you, creating those boundaries and communicating it to the parent. And, you know, I never open for the frenzy because I'm booked before the frenzy happens. So to me, it's about establishing that relationship with those parents and being human with them. You know, I say, I was in a car accident, I can't work. And they're like, don't come back before you're ready. It's like, you know, they understand. They want want you to be well. So those are, I don't know if that answered your question, Julie, but that's.
But that was part of this topic.
Burnout,
was not just burnout, but should I take time off? So some people are afraid, you know, if I take time off, I'm gonna, you know, have to start from ground zero again.
No.
So that was part of the discussion that I wanted to, you know, touch on, and you touched on it, because some people think, you know, I have to, because right now I would like to take a day off kind of, but I want to keep my regular students, but that's my decision. But some people think they can't possibly take time off or take a break because they're going to have to start over. And that's not really true.
I think you would be surprised, Cindy, because I regularly actually take time off because my husband was living at one place. I have another son somewhere else. And that was one of the things that I loved about this job.
Yeah.
I took 2 weeks off at Christmas, but the same thing Mary said is I let all of my families know, you know, guys, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. I can't wait to come back and see you. And most of them were like, have a great time. We'll see you when you get back. They're, you know, we think they're different, but they're really not different. I actually had trouble. My computer started rebooting last week before I actually was moving, and I couldn't get on the app. And I do have WeChat with this one family. So I texted her, but by the time I got on, they had canceled my class. And I said, I'm so sorry. I will open up for you tomorrow, because she was going to be taking her second UA for that. And I didn't want her to have to wait a whole nother week. And she says, no, do not worry about it. We'll see you next week. you know, so they were very kind about it. They understand that life happens too. At least the ones I deal with.
Sorry. Let us know in the chat about how you feel about taking time off. We're going to read your comments in the chat. So let us know. Do you take time off? Did you have any issues with taking time off? Did your students come back? I just want to read in the chat really quick and we'll get right to you guys. Let's see. Deborah said hi. Stephanie said, this is why I love watching on Mondays. I learned so much from all of you. Thank you, Stephanie. Let's see, Micah's here. And actually, I have a quote from Micah coming up. Micah has done some clips in his groups about burnout. So I was in his health and wellness group, reading some of his messages and watching some videos on burnout. So I have a couple from him and from other teachers. Stephanie, I'm so glad I found all of your channels. I love how positive you all are. I thrive on positive attitudes and try to be that for others. Love it. Deborah said, I am single and on my 5th contract. I work every day, Sunday through Saturday, 7 to 9 mornings, Friday, Saturday nights. I'm taking 2 days off this month to sleep in and revitalize. Awesome idea. Let's see. Hey, Amanda L, thanks for coming.
I would say one of the hard things about taking time off is you don't know you need that sometimes the time off. You actually have to keep it scheduled in there because our schedules are out for 2 weeks basically. You know, so that part may be a little bit difficult because we're in a different kind of industry where, you know, you can't, if you call out, you know, you kind of get a ding for that.
Yeah.
But so making sure and knowing, you know, that it's okay to take some time off here and there. Just schedule it in there, whether it's taking the whole day off or it's sleeping until 6 and only teaching 4 classes one morning or something.
Yeah. The other day I had 2 cancel. So I got to sleep in an hour and a half. Not even an hour. It was an hour and a half total. I was like, whoa.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Okay, guys, who did I leave off with? I think Amanda had her hand. Yes, Amanda.
So I'm a Pacific Coast time teacher, and so our PPT times are really rough. So I've done a little bit of everything. So let me give you my words of advice and wisdom. When I first started teaching, I opened slots all the time because I was looking to build my student base. I woke up at 1:30 in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. I would teach a few, then go to sleep. I did short notice. I did a little bit of everything until I finally built my business. I was very strategic in the time I took off when I was a new teacher. So speaking to Sydney's new teacher advice, my new teacher advice is be strategic about the time you take off. Until your regulars are your love connected regulars that will follow you to the ends of heaven and earth, they are going to lose kids if you do close a whole week. So it is true that, like, if you're a new teacher and you don't have established regulars that you're connected to, you take time off, they're going to buzz on to someone else because they're not your regular. So what I did was waited and did all these crazy hours and then started shifting my schedule, and my regulars follow me. I send messages and feedback when I'm going to be gone and traveling, starting for the priority bookings for those weeks coming up. I also am connected to families on WeChat. I've built my business with regulars that come to any schedule that I set. I, over the winter, only taught 2 days a week. I taught 2 overnights, Monday night all the way into Tuesday morning, and then I would sleep while my kids went to school. Then on Wednesday night, I would do it again so that I'd have a morning to sleep in between. And that's what worked for me. I could grab like 20 classes over 2 days and I'd have my weekends free. I'm a mom. I'm a home business owner and crafter. My kids are homeschooled now. My husband works nights. Like, I have to find the balance of what I can do for my family. So just consider your life situation. And then once you have that crew of regulars built, they'll come to where you are. Right now, I'm only teaching Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm only teaching 5 classes, so 20 classes a week because I'm swamped. I'm homeschooling 2 kids on computers with teachers who are sending all this work. Like, it's crazy. And I cannot like wake up at 3 in the morning, 7 days a week or 5 days a week. It's just not possible. So
Mhm.
just consider like your time zone, where you live, find a balance that works with you. And then once you have your regulars, they'll follow you anywhere. Basically, every slot I open is filled. I don't have problems with losing students. If I need more slots open. If I could sleep less, I could work every morning. But I can't for my family. I have to have the weekends off. I can only work a few days in a row. But that took me time to build those students into my base, and now they'll follow me to whatever I open. So for right now until the summer, in July and August, then I will go back to only work nights, and I'm giving up the mornings. Woo, 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 woo. Remember, there's different seasons. Once you've got your regulars, don't be afraid to message them and change your schedule. Work 2 weeks in advance, open up those, plan ahead, take days off when you need to, like really message your kids and families, and they will come with you, but not until they're heart regulars. When they're just fluff and take anybody, they'll take any class. Same thing with short notice too. Like short notices will only be booked and filled like for me, when I was an established teacher. I couldn't pick up any short notices until I started opening only short notice. And I waited until I was in like my third contract before I even tried just opening short notice for PPT times. But right now I wouldn't do that. I fill on my priority books because I know that there's so much competition out there. So you got to build your followers that follow your schedule. It's just all about building your business. So I work hard. I have a new background every month. I prepare for my classes. I have amazing props. I am a techie presented teacher. Like all of those flow into getting kids to come to you. And that's how you build your schedule and keep from burnout from happening.
Yes. And then I was going to say, so like we've all been with the company, 2+ years pretty much. And you go through, I had regulars when I first started, and then all of a sudden you get new regulars. And now I've had long-term regulars. I don't know what happened to the first set of regulars, and that's okay. But yes, I agree with what Amanda said. Also, you had it's all about what works for you and not worrying about what other people do. I think some new teachers make the mistake. I have seen it where they open every single slot. They're so desperate for classes, and sometimes almost all of them get filled, and then they're freaking out. So I don't know if I would recommend that. I would not recommend that.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty stressful. But anyway, I go. Yeah, it's like ebb and flow for me. Like I was working the first 4 months, 100 classes, 105 classes a week. And then I'm like, all right, I need a break. Now I'm like, I start at 10:30 at night, my time, and I work till 8 a.m. But I do 4 classes, take a break, 4, take a break. But I've done 16 classes in a row. I wouldn't recommend that either. I don't know. Some people do. I've done 23 classes in a row, but it's yeah.
No.
I did 26.
No.
26. Yeah.
But I had a couple trial no shows in between that saved me.
Yeah. But it's stressful. You have to find what works best for you. And because the parents can see, like personally, if I was a parent and I saw a teacher had booked every class was booked, I wouldn't want to be the last class, because you can't tell me that they're going to be like,
the same as the first class.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I would, as a parent, that's how I would look. I think it looks, I don't know. I mean, maybe some people can do it. I just can't imagine. And I have seen some people's schedules that work every day, all slots. Some people have to do it out of necessity. There was one teacher, her husband couldn't work, so she was the breadwinner. And maybe she doesn't have to do anything else. I mean, I have to, cook, clean. I mean, my kids are older, but I still have to do chores and, there's other things to do. So yeah, I don't know. You just have to find what works best for you. And I guess the thing is, just don't worry about what anybody else is doing, because it doesn't matter. You have to do what works for you.
Yes, Cindy, I did have to run and use the bathroom. Cindy asked if I had to run to the bathroom. I was like, man, I've got 2 minutes. Run.
You learn how to do a lot in 2 minutes.
In 2 years, one time I had to tell my regular student, just a minute. And I had to go like in the middle of a class because I couldn't wait.
Oh,
But that
wow.
was only once.
Mary?
One of the things that I have found that helps with burnout for me is limiting how much I do outside of the class time. So I'm a prop heavy teacher. I just love props. But what I found when I first started teaching is every night I was putting props away and preparing trays for each lesson for the next. And until I found a way to organize my classroom, it's really efficient and easy. So I think finding out a system that works for you, you're not doing a lot of extra work outside of teaching time is super important. And I think everyone finds their own system with that. That's different. So I would look at that. I mean, I'll just show you a really quick way that I do it. And having started my 6th contract, I now have a drawer for every level and every unit.
Nice.
So, this is the seasons unit. So it's got the seasons, it's got my, and, I have 8 of those rolling carts with 10 pull-ups.
8 rolling carts? Wow.
So, and then every lesson I teach is a index card.
I don't
So it's done once. It's my
No, I don't have a
I don't know who this.
Oh, well, you could use that.
Do we know who Jennifer is that's coming in? I just realized I don't know her.
I don't know, but I posted on Nancy's group and on one of my Facebook pages just a minute ago.
But you only posted the YouTube link, right? Not the Zoom link? Because the Zoom is just for us.
Oh, you know what? No, I did the wrong thing. Oops.
Okay, well, let's meet a new teacher.
No, you don't have to let her in here. Send her somewhere else. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not an actual teacher yet.
Oh.
Sorry. Well,
Jennifer, welcome.
Well, we're here to tell you how not to get burned out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's what's happening. I'm getting burned out waiting on me getting accepted to become one. I passed all of my classes very quickly and it's driving me crazy, but I won't waste y'all's time. Excuse me.
You are fine being
that's
here.
Awesome. I love it.
Stay.
Do you have any suggestions on that? What I need to do?
So let me ask you a question. So you've gone through the process and now you've opened slots and you're waiting?
No, I haven't even made it that far yet.
Oh, you're in the
Everything's
background
still
phase.
waiting. Right.
Oh, a lot of
My
it's
latest-
because of COVID right now.
Right.
Yeah.
My latest 2 referrals took 3 weeks in the background phase. And what I told them that they should do is take, well, you can't do workshops yet. She
Watch
asked me
YouTube
about intro
videos.
videos and YouTube and things like that.
I've done one workshop yesterday at 3:30. It was Nancy, one of them, not B, the other one, whoever the other one is. And that was very helpful. So I was just thinking this one might be one that I could do too, but I guess not.
You're welcome hanging here. So this is actually, you were supposed to get the link for YouTube.
I'm going to send the other link out here in just a second.
The link, she sent the wrong link, which is totally fine. You should be in the YouTube group in the live chat.
Gotcha.
But instead, Paige sent you the Zoom, so you get to be in the panel today. So
it's okay. Obviously, I'm not burned out yet. So you guys go ahead and you do what you're doing and I'll follow along when I can. Nice to meet y'all.
To meet you, Jennifer.
We are, just so you know, we're live at VIPKid Teacher Kasie is my YouTube.
Okay.
So go over there and say hi in the chat.
Okay.
Well, I correct all my errors.
Bye.
Sorry.
No, that was my fault. I got to go in here and correct it all.
That was fun.
That was awesome. Wow.
I wanted to say some other things with burnout are affecting your physical body too. So when I was teaching many classes, 12 classes or 10 classes in a row, I got a really bad neck problem. And I realized this is a tip to holding. I realized that I was holding my hand up here on the top of the whiteboard when I wrote, and that was making me have a pinched nerve in my neck. So now when I hold the bottom of the whiteboard, and that really helps me for bringing all my props and resources up to the camera. I also alternate between standing and sitting. So my desk is, I can put it down. I'm sitting now, but it can also be a standing desk where I can raise my computer up and down. And that really helped me with my physical body to be able to kind of be a good teacher and not be in pain, because I had terrible neck problems and my back was hurting, like every single thing. So I stand on a high density working standing mat that I got from Sam's Club. I stand for 3 classes and sit for 3 classes. So I alternate between doing both things, and that really helps to keep me from not feeling pain or hurts. And eye problems too. I once had an eye infection. I got conjunctivitis so bad that I could not get rid of it. And what I realized was because I was so tired, I was rubbing my eyes and making the conjunctivitis just spread from both sides. So when I'm done teaching, I actually wash my hands, which we're doing now a lot anyways, wash my hands and wash my face, so that I'm getting all the oils of like my being sweaty with the camera and all that from teaching, and not spreading that all around my eyes. And that really helped, so that I'm not really feeling physical problems also related to being a teacher for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, in between classes, if you do have a lot of classes in a row, it's good to just, stretch your neck, stretch your arms, or even like, I try to do like some squats, like 10 squats or something, just to kind of get your blood flowing. I also alternate sitting and standing, which I just started doing last year. It's very helpful. But it also helps to have a good mat, like you said, to stand on. But yeah, just to get up, if you do sit, to get up and stretch a little bit, it's amazing how a 30-second stretch can really rejuvenate you for the next class.
So this, I was showing you, this is my balance board, and it's like super hard, but sometimes I stand and teach classes, but I also keep this under my desk, and it's got these little things on it, like sensory things. And sometimes, but you guys know I'm always busy. That's my personality. So I always like move my feet on them, or I'll put it over to the side for a minute and stretch and stand on it and move around. So yeah, I love those.
This is kind of off that topic a little bit, but what do you do when when I move, I'm going to contemplate getting a standing desk, but how do you move your like background? Does it look different? I mean, does it look weird when you're doing one versus the other?
I have a laptop, so I just move
I gotcha.
I kind of like close it a little bit or open it. That's all I have to do for mine. So what do you guys, anybody?
I use wrapping paper. So right now it's a white wall because I got tired of wrapping paper for a while. I'm a big wrapping paper. So I buy 2 rolls of wrapping paper, and I make my background go all the way to the ceiling.
Okay.
So that when I raise my computer up, you can see a kind of like basically 2 backgrounds. So one for the upper part, one for the lower part. So I change wrapping paper every 3 months. I just got rid of polka dots, and now it's a white wall for a little while because I have so many colors. And then what you can use a sheet. I've used like they have those canvas backgrounds. The maps are great from Nancy Terrell. There's lots of ways to do it. So just think of design being in 2 parts, that you need something that extends if you're going to alternate between up and down.
I think it's been good to hear all you guys too, and for if there's new teachers watching, because just to hear amongst this group how many different teaching, how we do things differently. Like I had the same background for 2 years. So when I move, I hope to change backgrounds. I don't use a ton of props, and I mean, I use minimal props. So I think it's people used to tell me you'll find your group, and you do find your group. For the teachers, that are out there. There's kids for all of us, all different kinds.
Yeah. When I first started, I was sitting like, and I found I was locking up. Like I was like, because you're excited and you're kind of like, and Micah kept telling me, you should stand. Of course, he's very respectful, but I'm like, well, he says I should try it. And actually right now I have like a bigger stool I just got. but I prefer standing now because I do feel like you know, like you can move more and your body is straighter. And like at first I just kind of worked into standing. Like I didn't do 6 classes in a row the first time. But it is good to have adjustable. I would agree with that. Like sometimes I like to sit. If I only have 1 or 2 classes, I might want to sit. But it's funny because if I have more, I might want to consider standing, because if I sit for 6 classes in one spot, I think I get more tight than if I stand. So definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Before we answer your question in the chat, Deborah, I wanted to go around and can everybody have 1 or 2 tips that you use to avoid burnout? What are some of the things you do to take care of yourself or to avoid burnout? Anybody have anything?
I'll start just because one of the things that I do, and I know that she was talking about, you know, what you do is preparing and getting your props and stuff ready. I really try and make it so that I spend, you know, 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after per class or whatever. And so that I'm not spending that much extra time outside of the class getting ready. Because it also, not only does it limit, you know, the amount of money you're making per class, you know, I'm ready to jump onto something else.
Mary?
So I'll say 2 things. One is teaching a variety of levels helps prevent burnout for me. If I can teach a level 1 and then a level 6 and then a level 4, it's so much more interesting for me. And I find that I have energy that I wouldn't have. I started out all level 1 and it was like, okay, after level 1's every lesson, it's like, give me a change, give me a break. So I really appreciate
I like that too.
And then this isn't in the classroom, but as I started saying at the beginning, is making sure your life is in balance. So, you know, making sure I take my dog for a little walk before I start teaching. And then right after I finish teaching, I go for a walk again. I make sure I have time with my husband and with my son. I make sure I'm eating healthy foods and having quiet time in nature, like all those things that help me balance physically, emotionally, spiritually, that keep me centered so that I have energy in the classroom. So making sure that I'm not making teaching the most important, that I'm not making any one thing most important, that all of it's important to stay balanced.
Cindy and I keep each other accountable for our steps. We are in a little thing, and I won this week, Cindy, or this month. Woo!
Did you sign up for the new one?
No, is it too late?
No, I think it starts in a couple days. They usually give you a few days of a buffer, you know.
Yeah, there's a VIPKid steppers group. And like you go for walks, but we're in what is this? Step bet. So we do, you know, you pay your $20 or whatever to get into this bet, and then you win your money back, and you win a pot, I think, of everybody else's that didn't.
We might get a couple dollars.
But it makes me go out and walk. Last night I was 100 short when I was going to bed, and I was like, oh.
I know, I hate that. My husband went out with me yesterday, and he was like, I said, I need a couple thousand more steps. And he took me on like a 14,000 step walk. And I'm like, I only needed 2,000. I didn't need 14,000.
There's just something about being outside and fresh air. It just, I love it. Marianne, you have a tip for us?
Oh, I was going to say, so I think it's good to take one whole day off if you can. I don't know. That helps me knowing that I don't I've been taking off Mondays because, you know, I'm like Garfield. I hate Mondays, right? And I finally have a job. I can take off Mondays if I want to. So, and since the weekends and my husband works overnights right now and he works weekends. So that works for us. And so it's just so nice knowing I don't have to teach. Even if I wake up early, I don't care because like today was Monday. So I mowed the lawn and I planted some you know, just got to do what I wanted to do. Now I have to work at 1 tomorrow morning, but you know, I'll be going to bed here. I've got my pajamas on. I'm ready for bed. And but anyway, I think just, taking the time off. When I get done teaching, I take my dog for a walk and then I come back and if there's any feedback I need to do, but just to get out of the classroom for a while, kind of refresh your brain, get some exercise. I don't know, but I think it's nice to, some people just work every single day, but I think it's nice to have at least one day off if you can. So.
I think I'm heading that way. Marianne. I think it's time for me to figure out what a day off I'm gonna
Kasie,
choose.
how many classes do you teach a day?
In the mornings, I'm 6 or 7. I've been consistent since starting with VIPKid. And then, except when I did the overnights the first 2 months, but 6 or 7 in the mornings now, and then 2 or 4 in the evenings, except Friday and Saturdays, like 2 to 5 or 6.
Right.
You know, they book, and then you're like, oh, I can open up one more. Why not open? I'm like, ah.
Right. You'll learn.
I am. My husband on our walk last night mentioned, like, maybe you need one day off. So, but I started taking 3 nights off a week now. So that's, that's a little bit. I'm getting there.
Yeah. Good.
So, Kasie, do you have a tip for us?
Yeah, so I think what's really important is to think about you, and it's essential to take you time, because I know it's so easy to get burnt out, especially if you're working day after day and you're not taking any breaks. And it doesn't matter if you're working 6 classes a day or if you're working 20, you still need a break. It still takes time to get those props together and to plan. And I know that taking time for yourself, whatever it is, whether it's going for a walk or getting your steps in or just doing different things, doing fun activities, it could be like artistic outlets if you like drawing or painting. I know Paige, she was into doing some fun projects like painting. So that's awesome, like just doing different things. And I do like pound cardio, so it's like drums. So I mean, doing different things, it's just important to take that time for yourself. And I know it's easy to let go of all things when you're not thinking about yourself and you're thinking, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that. So I just think it's great.
Good.
And it's good to not lose track of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of great videos on YouTube. Also, I wrote a couple down. Kristen's Classroom, she has one dealing with teacher burnout. Hers is for VIPKid and brick and mortar teachers. She talks about that. Danny Happy Farms, Louisiana has a good one on burnout. She's got other things in that one too. And there's another teacher, Lydia VQ. I watched 2 of her videos on burnout also. And on Facebook, Micah Kid, VIPKid Mental Health and Wellness. He's got some great clips and things. And I kind of like his approach. I wrote it down. He just pretty much said like, I quoted him. He says like, lighten up about feedback. Simple is better. He said he's the lingo bus parent. I hope he doesn't mind me talking about what he said, but it's out there on Facebook land. He said, he's a lingo bus teacher. He doesn't need to know every little detail about what happened in that class. He's certainly not going to read this huge list. Lighten up a little bit. And I was like, okay, stop putting so much pressure. I mean, I still want to write a good feedback, but I don't know. I just liked his approach. Like,
I think for feedback, you don't have to put every detail of the class, but if you can put a detail of, say, practice these 2 words, or practice singing the opening song for good pronunciation. Sometimes they want, a little tidbit of specifics because they are very detail oriented. Mm-hmm. So we're not as detail oriented as they are, I don't believe. So that I think that we need to make sure that we meet their standard of their culture, mm-hmm. and maybe not retype the entire class, but give them what they're looking for as far as how can we improve and what does my student need to do to be ready for the next class type of thing.
One of my students' parents, because I asked her, actually, she speaks English, and I said, what do you want from me to give you in the feedback? And she said, if you could give me a few positive things that he did and a few things that he could work on. She didn't really want me to, really go over exactly what everything in the lesson was. She said, I can look in his workbook and see what you were supposed to cover. And then it kind of reminded me, in the past when my kids have had tutors, I don't want to play by play of what they did. I want to know what I need to work on to get them help for next time. you know, or maybe if they, you know, did, oh, he finally mastered this part of that. And that's kind of how I go about mine now. I do kind of do the positive, negative, positive thing, I think.
Yeah. Kelly said she uses Feedback Panda. Do you guys use Feedback Panda?
Proceed with caution on Feedback Panda.
Oh, really?
Too.
Feedback Panda can be a lovely tool. I used it for about a year, but before you cut and paste, make sure you check it first, because it is loaded with spelling and grammatical and punctuation errors. And yeah.
Interesting.
But I know they just increased their prices too.
What's that?
They just increased their prices. So.
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is the same thing for free in the Google Slides group in the planner. It has the exact same. I mean, my understanding when I was comparing it, kind of the same free stuff too.
Oh, really?
I mean,
I've
it's
never
free.
used the planner.
The planner has it, and you just put it at your schedule in, and it populates their name. But the same thing that Julie said, I mean, you definitely have to read over it to make sure that there aren't any errors.
You know, one thing that I heard everyone talking about in terms of reducing stress is, I think it's so important to be mindful of two things. One is our own thoughts. I believe thoughts become a reality. You know, what we focus on becomes our reality. If we believe that bookings are going down and our bookings are going to continue to slide, then that is what we will manifest.
Yes.
And so it's very important to be aware of our own thoughts, and we get to choose. We can either choose the challenges we face or obstacles that prevent us from going in directions we want to go, or we can look at them as directional arrows that give us opportunities to learn new skills and make new connections. From the onset, when I started with VIPKid, I treated this like a job. And I got up initially at 4 o'clock in the morning and worked until 8 o'clock in the morning. And I was in my chair at my desk from 4 until 8. Even in the beginning, when I had no students, I attended workshops and did all the other things that other people said. But just the main thing a regular schedule did for me was established a sense of continuity and grounded me as an independent contractor. This is my job. And so I committed to it. My job was not the number of slots that were filled. My job was not the number of parents that picked me to be their children's teacher. My job was to teach. And so I was available and shaping, doing all those things that build me as a good teacher. And I think coupled with the fact of being aware and mindful of our own thoughts is, as we explore social media in particular, be very mindful about the kinds of groups you choose to join, the posts that you choose to follow, because it's like I heard some saying at the very beginning about the negativity. If you want to find it, it is there. If you want to fall down the rabbit hole and get fast in the tar of criticism and negativity, if you're looking for it, you will find it. And I will find I think it's important to feed ourselves and to connect with the people that we want to be like, that we want to role model. I was very lucky early on to find Jennifer Anderson as my referral mentor when I first started out. And so in connecting with those who were positive really helped me stay positive as well. So, but we have a big responsibility within ourselves and strengths within ourselves that can keep us uplifted and positive, and to pay attention to that. When it's time to take time off, you are not the loser. You are doing good self-care, and that's important.
I think you're a better teacher when you take care of yourself.
Always.
And others too. Yeah. Very good. Amanda.
I was going to say, for me, what I had to figure out what was important. So what's important is that I can maximize my sleep. So to do that, I prepare the night before when I know I'm teaching the next morning. I set out my shirt, I put up my computer, I turn it on so it's ready. My lights plugged in, and then in my teaching office, I've streamlined and put everything I need to get ready. I put on these glasses, I brush my hair, and I put on lipstick, which I keep in my classroom. And so I am ready because it's all in one spot. Like, so think of and being organized to like plan for success really helps me with feeling burnt out. If I can know that everything's all set up, it's ready. I actually wake up, don't tell anybody, 15 minutes before class.
I do too.
So I wake up at 3:15 for a 3:30 class, and that's the time that I start. I used to wake up a half hour early and go around and do all these things and get ready. I that's not my style. I need to maximize my sleep as much as I can. So I'm pushing that time until the very last 15-minute alarms going off and let's go. 15 minutes, the teacher Amanda's on, and I can do that because my body, I'm like a jump out of bed and go person, but some people aren't that. So just find what works for you. Find that balance, get everything organized so that you've got it all in one place and you're ready to go. That's what a professional VIPKid teacher does. I get 5 Apple feedbacks. I get positive student connections. I build my student base because I'm a professional teacher. I'm ready and prepared. My kids know when the camera opens, it's go time. It's not teacher put the lipstick and get ready and I'm half asleep. I'm ready. So just quality classes are very important. That's how you get your student base to follow you.
I prep the night before too. It helps me sleep better when I know everything's ready. I'm like, oh, good. I'm ready to go. Yeah.
There is a teacher, Teacher Sydney, and she runs a 5 Apple store. And she made, I don't know if you've seen them, the onesies.
A onesie.
I have 2. And I love those things. I love going to bed at night in my onesie and waking up and right into the classroom. I am ready.
I want a onesie. She had stopped for a little while, so I'm gonna find her and get a onesie.
Oh, yes, love it.
Kasie, you get up 20 minutes before?
Yeah, just 20 minutes. I don't really need too much I check like social media stuff, but then I'm just like,
I always get my coffee. It's just,
I'm 30 minutes before. And usually Cindy and I and Evelyn, there's a few of us that are already starting to message and saying good morning. 30 minutes before.
Well, I should start messaging you guys because it's 3:30. Nobody in California is awake when I'm awake.
That's true.
Yeah. My parents were.
I had to do as a professional speaker is, this was something that was wonderful and fun that I started in the mornings. But when the coronavirus pandemic hit and schools were closed, all of my speaking engagements were canceled for the rest of the year.
Oh.
And so my source of income was gone.
Oh.
I was so fortunate to have VIPKid, but the challenge was then to have that additional stream of income. I now teach 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. I'm an all-nighter now, and I do that a week. But I built in, I teach 4 hours, take 30 minutes, teach 4 hours, take 30 minutes, so that I've got time to do the feedback throughout and take a break.
Yes.
And it's worked out fine. The only thing, and this has been the struggle for all of us, has been getting used to the hours. His sleep, like Micah Kid, keeps people mentioning.
Get your sleep.
And I get your sleep. I did want to mention quickly that Micah Kid is the the administrator of the VIPKid Health and Wellness Group. Mm-hmm. And Micah and I are moderators of each other's groups.
Okay.
Nice. Mental health and wellness all go in together. But if you want to see more things specifically from Teacher Micah, go to the VIPKid Health and Wellness Group and you will find his posts.
Yeah, well, I think we call it a weight loss group right now, but it's not really weight loss. It's more, we are doing a weight loss contest.
But those are separate, right?
Isn't it in the same group? It's in the same group. But, he has a page.
It's a page.
He has a page.
Yeah.
But we talk about non-scale victories
too. Right.
It is called weight loss, but it's non-scale victories, feeling better about yourself and energy.
Right. just positive things. Yeah.
They're all interrelated. Yeah.
And you know,
Right.
sometimes people who are always positive, they still need to be held up too. I mean, there's times, you know, like Micah's always positive, but there's times he needs to be encouraged, you know? And so if you see somebody who's always positive, still cheer for them, because there's going to be a time when they need that encouragement as well. And so I don't know, I guess for me, I'm not always positive. I do sink sometimes, and I need to reach out and find people that can help encourage me. And then when I get that, I'm just like, okay, I'm ready to go again. But you know, there are those times, and you know, saying let's not do burnout, some people have different personalities. I have people in my life that are perpetual pessimists. I won't say who, but it does make it difficult. And when you live that way for a long period of time, this is why I thrive with VIPKid, and I look at what we're doing for these kids, and we're always positive. We're giving them stars, we're giving them rewards, and we're always positive. We see them, you know, but then what do I do with my own kids? Am I that encouraging with them? Am I that encouraging with my everyday people that I see every day, every half hour, giving them a star, or every 5 minutes? I mean, I don't usually do that, but I realize that is, I bet you the kids, VIPKid kids love that from us, and people in our regular life love that too, when we can encourage them. And I think that's something I took from VIPKid, was that I need to do more of that in my everyday life. Encourage people, smile when you don't feel like it, you know, and being a positive energy for the people around you as well as on the screen.
Yeah. So I was on the VIPKid website. I think it's not from the official page. And I thought this was great. There's a teacher, Gabe, on there that put it, well, it's a long post, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit. He says, burnout is real and is not a sign of weakness. We all live busy lives with multiple jobs, school, children, and family, and other commitments. Teaching online is an excellent opportunity to meet some wonderful students as well as some inspiring teachers. This job comes with no ceiling, which makes it easier for us as teachers to take on more than we normally would at any other job. Please remember that your mental and physical health is so important, and that setting boundaries will only help you continue this job in the long run. And I just thought that was a great, you know, I don't know. Does his words hit home with me, you know? So it is important to take care of ourselves physically, mentally, and we'll be better for
And
it.
be ready. You know, burnout can happen. Like when I first got into VIPKid, I'm like, I'm not the type of person to burn out. Like I just keep going. I love to work. I thrive on being busy, being productive. And I really haven't burned out in completely, but there are times where you do need to just pull back. And when you can do that, then you won't completely burn out.
So what do you think are the signs of starting to get burned out? Because like you said earlier, you need 2 weeks before you can take time off sometimes. So I think one of the early signs would be like, oh, I got to get up and teach, or it's time to teach. Maybe you're getting a little burned out. So anybody else, what do you think are signs of burnout?
Feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
About, I don't know, just getting overwhelmed really easily, just about any little thing. Maybe.
Yeah. And when you find yourself complaining about, even like sometimes when I get up in the morning, I will say, I'm not feeling it today. But then once I get going, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not a morning person at all. So that's a big problem. But when you find yourself complaining, like if somebody asks me about VIPKid, I just brighten right up and I'll just talk for hours. But if you find yourself complaining about the job, and if you are dreading, you know, the days, and that is a huge sign you need a break.
Amanda.
Sleep deprivation is nasty and horrible and wrecks your brain. So I went grocery shopping in my second month of teaching, and I was pushing the shopping cart in the store. And as I was grabbing things, I went to push my shopping cart, and I heard behind me this man yelling at me, "Hey lady, hey lady." And I looked over and I was like, what? Why is he yelling at me? I had taken the man's cart instead of my cart. And I did that again 20 minutes later to someone else's cart. Seriously, like it wrecks your brain. And so really like that was my sign. I cannot wake up at 2 a.m. 7 days a week. Like it is just not going to happen. I can't be a happy mom, a happy wife, happy everything. I just can't. And I cannot be safe like going to the grocery store and taking other people's carts. Like that's just bad.
Wait, that's a sign of burnout? I just thought that was me not paying attention because
that's for me. That's for me. So
kidding.
when my brain is mush and like things are getting messy, I'm pushed too far. I need to really sleep more and think about my health and my safety. Like, how am I driving? Like, how am I staying awake when I'm sleeping 4 or 5 hours? It's just not okay. So I found that balance. Like, I've got to squish my classes to a few days a week so I can have some good nights of sleep. So, and I want to have Friday night movie with my family. I don't want to be teaching all the time and say every night I have to go to sleep because I have classes in the morning. Like I really have to find that happy balance. And so for me, when I have mush brain, I know too much.
Good one. Yeah. Somebody else?
I find if I'm procrastinating, that's often a sign that I'm not not feeling good about what I'm doing and wanting to put it off. So to me, that maybe I've reached the limit and I just need a break. I also want to say that recently I went from just having, well, I was working 7 days a week. I went to 6. Recently in the last 2 weeks, went to 5 days. And I can't believe how much more energy I have throughout the whole week. It's not just that one extra day off, that all of my days these last couple of weeks, I felt like I have more energy to do the things and I'm getting more accomplished than if I was doing it every day. So to me, that's a sign that I was overdoing it and that now I'm finding that balance even more.
Yeah. And that's okay. Go ahead, Mary Ann.
Oh, sorry. No, sorry. I was going to say that's what I'm working for, Mary, is to have actually 2 days off. I have not had 2 days off in months. I mean, it's been a long time.
You need it, Mary Ann. Let us tell you that now.
So I'm debating. I'm debating if
just do it for a couple weeks. You don't have to do it forever.
Right. So I decided I'll work hard for a while and then I'm going to take time off. So I'm trying either Monday, Tuesday, 2 days off in a row, or Monday and Wednesday or something like that, and see what works best, because I have quite a few regulars. I have these twin girls. I teach them each 3 times a week. And for example, and so the mom, like, she's always pushing, like I used to start at, 8:30 at night and go till 8 in the morning or whatever. And when you look at when you've been with VIPKid a while, it has like interested students, the slots. And a couple of months ago, I'm like, every slot had an interested student. And I'm like, no, I can't, And so I set up my schedule. I've been doing the 4 classes and a break because I like to throw in a load of laundry or maybe do the dishes or something. That way, when I'm done working, I don't have those chores to do. They're already done. So I, like the mother of the twins, she, finally like, nope. Decline. I'm not going to start at 9:30. I said midnight. And she'll book it. I think they just, like you said, you feel bad, but then it's like you have to do what I know when I get a priority booking, I'm like, nope.
Well, they're not in school right now. Like when they're in school, I found like with the older kids, sometimes they can't, adjust their schedule. Right now they're out of school, so that is an advantage where they can be more flexible, which is nice. But when they have a real schedule, it might be different. But that's part of what I was going to say is you don't have to make it the same forever. like you could try something new and see if it works. And if it doesn't, you go back to the other. You know, you can try different types of strategies for your bookings and see what happens. I had a strategy I tried to get more trials and it really worked. And you know, so and then you can change it, and then you can, you know, that's the thing. This is a flexible job. So that's what makes it nice. And the longer you continue, the more followers, the more students that you interact with, the more chances you have of security with the company, and they'll, you know, you have the experience now. So it's a little different than when you first start.
And I don't know if this goes along with burnout, but I had I had a couple of certifications that I dropped because I just didn't enjoy them, and I was
that's another thing too.
Dreading teaching it. Like I dropped the trials because I felt like I had enough regulars. I didn't really need to do that, and I just don't enjoy the trials. And I dropped the TOEFL because I don't know, for my own reasons. I just didn't like the way it was set up, and I feel like the kids were just in there, click, 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 the answer, and you're trying to present, you know, how it. Anyway,
I can understand that.
Yeah. I dropped a couple, and it just was like, oh, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
I just started teaching more upper level. Was heavy level 1 and 2 the first year and a half, and it takes a lot of energy and it's exhausting. And so when I got level 4, I was like, wow, they do most of the talking and I'm just listening, and it was kind of a nice break. So now I'm like, okay, definitely want to have some upper level classes just for that mental break. Absolutely. And to be able to talk to them. So
So we were talking about taking time off. In December, I was so nervous because I had started in August and I was terrified to take time off because I thought, am I going to get my students back? Am I going to lose them? So I took off only Christmas Day and like the days we were traveling to get there. And then my husband talked me into taking a week off in January. We went to Hawaii, his work stuff. So it was, you know, we only had to pay for me. So it was a smart move. Anyway, but I was really worried. And what I found was only one, I didn't lose her, but now I'm sharing her. Do you see what I'm saying? So I didn't lose any students. They all came back. But I did, only one is now I'm sharing her with another teacher. But I kind of think that's a good idea anyway. So for me, it was a positive experience, and it was okay that I took time off. I think like Amanda said, I had already built up a core of regulars. I let them all know in advance in their feedback, like a week before, it must have been a couple weeks before. I started writing, just want to let you know, I will be not in my classroom from this day to this day. It ended up working out great because I was sick in Hawaii, but so how about you guys? Did anyone have a negative experience taking time off? No,
I took a week for carpal tunnel surgery on my wrist. I should have taken 2 because that second week I went back was really tough. I had to teach with my arm like up on the side on ice and with one hand. I don't know what I was thinking. Like,
one week, yeah.
So like you can't click. I couldn't draw on the screen. Like there were so many things. I couldn't write with the whiteboard on the pen because I can't hold a pen. Darn off Dumbo me. So I had to teach that second week. If I could do it again, I would have taken 2. And remember, kids are taking classes for a long time. They're going to be taking English classes for many years. Learning English is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So if I take 2 weeks and my kids go see other teachers, or they just wait for me, which many kids do, and then I come back and start again, it's okay, because we're all going to get there in the end. But it really could have been a better health thing for me to really take those 2 weeks. That was too short. I had major surgery. My hand was impacted. I really shouldn't have. And so luckily I only put a few classes and they were regular, so they understood, but it was very uncomfortable and painful. And so I really should have waited 2 weeks.
And you're so animated. I can't imagine you having to be still, right?
I couldn't grab anything. I couldn't write. It was challenge. I also took 3 weeks for a trip. I went to Hawaii with family. I did a traveling trip before. I always message all my feedbacks for the weeks before. Teacher Amanda will be taking a holiday from this day to this day. And now I'm WeChat connected. So I send feedback in their priority bookings when I deny them, because you're going to get them automated. I change my calendar inside of the teacher portal. I send WeChat messages with a little icon in Hawaii and Teacher Amanda. So like I do it all. So they get the message many ways. And so that's how I communicate. It's okay. Like I've taught some kids for over 2 years. So of course I'm going to be traveling or doing different things. Stuff's going to happen. And so it's okay to close a day or take the time you need. Just be strategic about that if you're a new teacher.
And Deborah said she teaches levels 2, 3, 4 major course during PPT hours. That's her safe zone. Good. Kelly, let's see. Making sure I'm not missing anything. Kelly said that's the problem, deciding to take time off, and it takes 2 weeks to arrange your schedule.
Well, what's cool now, when I first started with VIPKid, we didn't have all the stuff. I mean, things have progressed and it's awesome. They've changed a lot of things. So now you can let your the parents know there's something on the portal. You can give the dates, and you know, I like how VIPKid has adjusted things over the years. You know, they've really added a lot of things that are beneficial. When I first started, I had detached retina. So I had to have surgery, and I had to lay on my stomach for 2 weeks. I mean, I couldn't teach at all. So I had to cancel 17 classes, and I just started like a couple of months. And it all worked out. You know, it all got approved. And I back then they had e-cards or something where you could actually send a personal note. And I had already established some regulars, and I came to work after 2 weeks, and I had to have an eye patch for a week. And I mean, but they were, like I said, the parents are very understanding. They know life happens, and they have children, and things happen. And I think as long as you let them know, there are more options now with WeChat or email, that it helps you're forming a relationship with the parents. So.
Right. All right. I hope we answered everybody's questions oh, hey, Danny's stopping by. I hope we answered any questions that were in the chat box. Do you guys have any last minute things to say about teacher burnout? Or yes, Julie.
Again, about teacher mentality and the importance of having a positive attitude. One of the things that I think is so important to remember is I look at all of this as a banquet where there are many seats at the table. There is plenty for everyone. I was reading in one of the Facebook groups about teacher feedback, and that you provide the notes for teachers in the parent feedback.
Teacher to teacher.
And there was a long stream of teachers who were saying, be strategic about how you word things and vague enough about how you word things, because you don't want anyone else copying your language. You must remember that we are all in competition with one another. And I thought, that's starvation mentality. You know, I believe we are at our best when we share the best of who we are with the best of each other. That's how we avoid burnout, when we stay connected, when we stay positive, and when we realize that when we don't come from a place of want and starvation. There are plenty of kids. There are lots of teachers, yes, but there are plenty of opportunities. And as we believe in opportunities, there are going to be slots that will be filled, and they will be filled by us. When we were talking about stress and how to respond into when we're feeling personal burnout, one of the things that I think our schedules allow for is when kids cancel out, or when slots aren't filled, I will close those when I feel burnout coming. And I don't feel a bit of guilt about it, because I know I'm a better teacher like we have said throughout the entire time together, I'm a better teacher when I take good care of myself. And I trust that the students will come. They will always come because we're awesome. Period.
Yay! I think we should end on that. I love it.
We're awesome.
We are.
Celebrate our
Everybody in the-
awesomeness. And happy Teacher Appreciation Week to all of the
Yay!
VIP Kid teachers.
Love it. Everybody in the chat, stay positive, have fun, reach out to us, reach out to me. I love these chats on Mondays, and make sure you guys put other topics you'd like to hear in the chat box or in the comment section below. Julie, Mary, Amanda, and everybody on the panel, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
I
you.
love this. Oh, we get stars, Amanda.
All the way, all the way.
And hearts.
Oh, I love the hearts. Yes.
Do I have hearts?
Hmm.
I don't know. I always make them with my hands.
Oh, that too. That's always good. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.